Previously on Dread and Breakfast.
Yeah, my character's name is Shawn.
My name is Theodore Dresden Mayweather.
Hey, I'm Tess. I've been gone for 6 months. I was in Brighton.
You all remember the night the church burned down.
All I have to say is it never should have been in the house.
I'll find out what you burned, Shawn. I'll find out what you burned.
You start to hear humming? You're more distracted by Claudia's hair.
According to my character sheet, she has her hair dyed split 50-50. Bright color on one side
does
and
she?
blonde on the
Interesting.
other.
Wait, no,
Is that-
she doesn't. It's a streak.
Everything fades in an instant to a blinding burst of white light.
Lewis, did you just take a picture of me?
And in that reflection, you all see Claudia. She has a little kazoo sticking out of her pocket, and she slams her fist against the window, pushing against it until her hand passes through the glass.
No! What?
I shatter the mirror.
It's a woman you've all interacted with plenty of times before, with the name tag, Captain Marigold, and beneath it the letters ORCS. So you are all sitting in Amy's loft apartment. Shawn and Theo, you are both sitting on the floor on some mismatched pillows that Amy picked up at a thrift store. Tess, you're sitting on a small stool, also thrifted, with Lewis on another beside you. He's still holding one of his cameras in his lap, and he's holding it so tightly that his knuckles have turned white. Amy and her mom are sitting together on Amy's bed. Amy's black cat Bean is curled up at their feet, and her mom, Miss Crane, is leaning forward with her elbows on her knees and hands clasped as you begin to explain your experiences. And as you watch her listening to you, this is not the chipper landlord that you've all come to know during your time in this house. She isn't making a lame joke to try to fit in with the kids or stopping by with lemon bars. This is not Miss Crane. This is Captain Marigold. And you're all huddled close together in darkness because it is dark. At Marigold's insistence, you've shut off all of the lights and covered yourselves underneath a thick down blanket. You're all sort of like holding it above your heads like the world's shittiest blanket fort. And as you're all talking, Shawn, your glasses kind of start to fog up with just how thick the air is under here. You've all also ditched anything that could trigger a reflection. So phones are in pockets. You know, Lewis has his lens cap over his camera lens. And surrounding your little huddle is a circle of iron. Again, Marigold insisted. You all watched as she withdrew a small canvas bag from her suitcase and sprinkled iron shavings around you all outside of the blanket before you began your... let's call it a chat. She also has refused to answer any of your questions until you told her exactly what happened. And so Marigold sighs and she says, okay, so it came out of the phone and it was using Claudia's form to lure you in like a siren song? That's fascinating. When was she taken exactly?
Taken?
I don't... Amy?
And you all look at Amy, and she is not looking at any of you. She's kind of fiddling with her bracelet again.
Amy?
Amy kind of, like, looks up very quick and looks down. I lied. Claudia never moved out. She didn't leave a note. She just disappeared. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I panicked. I thought I could fix it. I thought I could get her back, and I didn't know what to tell you. And
Oh, thank God.
Thank God. What are you talking about? It would make more sense
I thought Claudia was a ghost the whole time.
Yeah, like this thing that she's turned into is any better?
I mean, we can get her out, right? That's why we're all talking about this. That's why Amy thought she could fix it. So
yeah, Amy thinks a lot of things.
Okay, Tess, you haven't been here. You don't know what's going on any better than the rest of us.
Fuck you! Wow, okay. I'm not the one who lost complete track of my, housemate.
Right. Maybe if you had been here, we wouldn't have. So, Amy and Mary, whatever the fuck, don't care. Friends are missing. Talk now. We spilled our guts.
As you are having this argument, you see Marigold start rubbing her temple like with her hand, just completely over it. And she says, "So it's not Claudia that you saw. The oddity in the house is using her form, using your memories of her to lure you closer to windows, mirrors, etc. I assume it probably took her at some point, but this is important. When did she go missing? Can I get a time frame?"
Well, Amy said she was gone, I guess, like 2 weeks ago, but you're saying an oddity and for you, do you know what's going on here?
Yeah, we'll get to that. So 2 weeks, about?
Yeah, I guess, but you knew this house was haunted, Amy, and you still brought us here?
And Amy doesn't answer you, Shawn, but she looks at her mom, and they kind of have like a knowing look, and Amy just says, "I don't remember." Marigold says, "Okay. First things first, I guess background. Hi. So I am a realtor. That's we'll call it a side hustle. I work for the Oddity Research and Containment Specialists.
Oh, shit! Okay, sorry.
All right.
I'm actually the regional head of the containment branch, and it looks like we have a bit of a containment issue here.
You think?
So the oddity, and oddity refers to ghosts, specters, cryptids, things beyond general accepted understanding.
Spooky stuff. Got it.
Sure, if you want to be reductive. So the oddity in this house, it's H219. This whole house has been part of an ongoing experiment. We've been trying to research the different methods of long-term containment, which this oddity has been successfully contained in this house up until
Why did I
recently.
pay you rent?
I'm sorry.
You should have been paying
Yeah.
us for partaking in an experiment.
Exactly. Are we like lab rats or something just living in your mansion of pseudoscience? What the fuck?
Well, it's technically a modified duplex, and the experiment release information was in the fine print of your lease, which you all did sign. So technically, you agreed to it. Let's not mince technicalities.
Yeah, because technicalities and swindling people into agreements that they don't fully understand, that's completely excusable. Yeah, all right, let's just pretend that.
No, you know what? That's fair. That was in the rule book, and we didn't read the rule book.
Life isn't a game, Theo. My God.
Tess, you're wrong. Life is 100% a game, and I intend to win.
So Lewis looks up, and like his leg has been shaking like nervously. Like he just isn't sitting still. And he says, "Okay, like whatever, but like what the fuck happened to Claudia? You said she was..." And the whole blanket like shifts up and down as he sneezes. You said she was taken. Is she dead? Like what? I mean, Tess saw her like. Marigold shakes her head and she says, "My best guess is that she's not dead. She was just taken by H219.
Oh, your best guess. That's really reassuring.
So was she taken to like the ghost dimension, a spirit motel? Taken where?
Probably the basement, actually. That's where we had the oddity contained, and you said it came out through a phone and a window and a mirror, right? So it's using reflections.
That would be reasonable. Or glass. Maybe it's just using glass.
No, because I saw water downstairs when we were in the dark room, and it made me go into that weird trance. So I think it's reflections.
Oh.
And when you say that, Tess, you can just see like something click, like a realization in Marigold's face, and she just says, "Fuck." Well, what I think it's doing, it's taking them through the mirrors to the basement where it eats away at essence, memories, and the more it eats away at her, the less tangible she'll become. We won't know until we get down there, but...
We
don't you want to save your friend? I can't do this by myself.
Yes, but I have been awake for the past 36 and a half hours. I do not have the mental capacity to deal with this right now.
Well, I don't know what to tell you, Tess. You're going to have to, or people could start dying, because if it's able to use her form and able to tap into all of your memories of her, this thing is fucking with your minds too. So you're basically all next. Has any of you been experiencing forgetfulness, headaches?
Yes.
And you see Theo just eyes widen with sudden realization and fear. Uh-oh. What if we were experiencing those kinds of things?
Well, that would mean that H219 has started poking holes in your mind, and whatever you're forgetting, it's eating. So if you're starting to forget Claudia, it's eating her. But if you haven't forgotten her entirely, she's not dead yet. So we just have to act quickly.
Whoa.
She's gonna be bald. She's gonna be bald. She's gonna be bald. She's gonna be so upset that she's gonna be
Marigold
bald.
looks so confused.
I don't remember her hair.
I do. She had one dyed streak.
So you're telling me not only is my house haunted, but this thing is in my freaking brain? Like, get it out. You said you're the expert. How do I get this thing out of my head?
Again, we'll figure that out when we get down there. Okay? Has any of you seen it leave the mirror entirely yet?
Like all the way?
I mean, her hand came out.
We had a hand. I think when it was getting Amy, it was most of a torso, but I don't think like feet or anything. Does it have feet? I don't know what the butt end of a ghost looks like.
This one has feet, I think. But good news, if it isn't getting out of the mirror entirely, it means it probably can't yet.
I've been hearing a weird song as well. Is that anything?
And as you say that, Tess, thank you for this gift.
Fuck.
You all hear that song again, that like melody on the loop.
I don't even get to like pull for this option.
Fuck.
Like that's
Would you like
that...
to pull for this option?
Actually, no, I don't know what's worse.
Look at the
pulling
tower.
or the
Don't
song.
pull. What are you doing?
But it's the song where something is gonna happen and we're gonna.
You are always allowed to electively make a pull for any reason. So if you would like to do that right now, please fucking feel free and just tell me what you want to do.
No, I don't want to. I don't want to. I've changed my mind.
But you all hear that melody, and like before, it sounds like Claudia's voice is the one humming it, but it's kind of trippy. It's like echoing around the room, almost like it's to the left of you, and then you hear it move over to kind of in front of you, and then to the right of you, and then behind you, and it does this loop a couple times, and after a little bit, you kind of put together that it's coming from the different reflective surfaces outside of this blanket around the room. It's like hopping between mirror, between window, between abandoned phone screen. And it does that a couple times, grows louder and bolder, and then it stops. And Amy looks petrified. Lewis looks like he's about to shit himself. And Marigold looks emboldened, and she just says, like I said, I think we should move quickly.
Shawn, this is a great game mechanic. Right?
Marigold looks at you like really concerned as to how much of your brain has been kind of fucked with this thing.
Oh no, he was like that to begin with.
We can still save Claudia. We still have a chance. But all of you have to make a choice right now to help take this house back and to help me recontain this thing. Because if it does get out, it won't just be siphoning people's energy anymore. People will start dying. So are you in or not?
I look at Marigold very seriously for maybe the first time since we've been under this shit-ass blanket fort. And I go, Does it go from memory to memory? Like, is it coming after us because Claudia knows all of us? And so if it gets us, if it gets out and it gets us, it'll go for people we know and love?
Marigold just is kind of quiet for a second, and she just nods.
I'm in.
And then she turns to look at Tess.
I mean, clearly I have no choice.
So, Shawn, it's going to be a song track, and the game ends if the song track gets filled because you die from ghost.
Oh.
Hey, Theo. I get that we all cope with weird shit in weird ways, but this is kind of fucking me up, man. Could you just not, like, fuck, man. This isn't a game, okay? Like, we could die. Claudia could die. Shit.
Right, so you have to save your friend before the song track gets full.
And Amy ignores you, Theo, no offense. And
That's fair. That's reasonable.
Kind of like gestures at Lewis, and she's like, well, it's not that bad. When Lewis shined the light on it, it got all glitchy, right? So maybe that's something?
So like a light mechanic where if there's a shadow cast on it, it can move, but if it's in the light, it's vulnerable.
Marigold just has like the curtest, most just like, I'm so done with this bullshit sigh. And she says, here's what we're going to do. Amy, I need you and one other person to head outside and secure the foundation just to make sure H219 can't follow us out of the house. And she reaches back into her suitcase and pulls out another small canvas bag, like the one she pulled out before, and hands it to Amy. You know what to do? The rest of you are going to come with me down to the basement so I can see what the fuck went wrong with our containment plan. While I'm checking that setup, I need the rest of you to grab some things for me. I have a go bag downstairs that I keep for emergencies. We have some supplies in there that we will need if we want to recontain this thing and secure the house. And she continues to dig around in her suitcase and pulls out a silver USB drive that is of course branded with ORCS. I also need you to log on to my computer and download some files that I'll need. Username Marigold08, password 031596. Go into the C drive, grab the folders on H219 and the folder on C169. Once they're done downloading, get out of the house. We'll set up a safe zone in the garage and plan from there. Any questions?
That was kind of a lot that you just gave us. And I don't remember the first part.
I mean, I was typing it, so I remember it. But that's Christine, not Tess. Tess, I think at this point is just like, you know how when you're like so exhausted that you just like are there physically, but like mentally you like have kind of blacked out. Like you're still awake, you're not drunk, but you like black out from exhaustion. Like,
yep.
Tess just did that while Marigold was going through all of those numbers.
I don't remember what Marigold said, so I'm going to go with Amy because I think Amy knows what Amy needs to do, and I can help with that.
Whoa. If anyone's going to go outside and run away, it's me with the glasses. Thank you. Reflective surface. I can't live without. I will be going outside with the magic dust and the girl who knows what's going on.
Don't you have contacts, my dude?
Of course not. Who would touch their eyes? That's gross.
Offense.
Marigold kind of looks at you, Shawn, and she kind of frowns. She's like, I don't know that it's gotten enough energy to manifest through glasses just yet. If it hasn't...
Well, you don't know that it doesn't. Goodbye.
So, Shawn, you are going with Amy, Theo and Tess, and Lewis, you are going with Marigold downstairs. Do I have that right?
Sure.
Okay. Marigold looks at you, Shawn, and says, one more thing. On your way out, we'll need you to act as a distraction. Be loud, be obvious, and try to get H29T's attention because the rest of us are the most vulnerable downstairs and will need all the time we can get. So glasses might be a great lure for it. That's very smart on your part, Shawn. And she kind of like claps you on the shoulder.
Shawn? Are you... Wait, Theo is suddenly very concerned for his best friend in the world, Shawn.
Oh.
Who is now going to act as ghost... Who is going to now act as ghost bait with glasses literally inches in front of his face where the ghost might come and get him.
I mean, you can change where you want to go. That's fine.
No, this sounds worth it to go outside. This is a risk Shawn is willing to take.
All right.
I'm not going to try very hard to be distracting.
Excellent.
Oh, thank you.
So you're good. Thanks, bud.
That just turned from a moment of like pure friendship into a moment of pure selfishness. Thank you.
I guess Amy will have to try extra hard to be distracting. And I look at Amy.
Amy just kind of like looks down at herself and looks up at you and just like, yeah, I think I got that covered just with my whole aesthetic. But if you need anything in the house, grab it. Because I don't know what we'll have access to when we go back in. So if you have any flashlights or sparklers, fireworks, I don't know, just okay.
100p. We're gonna grab as many bright, flashy things as we can.
Also, if any of you sees Ghost, my cat Ghost, can you grab him and try and bring him out? I don't know where he went. He's probably scared.
I'll do what I can, I guess.
Amy, I know you love those cats, but right now we're trying to save our own asses, so can't promise anything.
And her black cat Bean looks up at you from the floor and just meows. Very sadly. Very offended. And Marigold looks at you and goes to, like, remove the blanket and just asks, are we ready?
Ready as we'll ever be.
Let's do it.
And you uncover yourselves from this little protective huddle. And Amy's apartment is quiet. You don't hear any humming. You don't hear the rain pattering on the windows. It seems to have stopped. And you all stand up and exit this circle of iron. Amy and Shawn, you both head out of the room first. And one by one, the rest of you leave this circle. Marigold, then Theo, then Lewis. And Lewis reaches down to you, Tess, to kind of like reach out a hand to lift you up from the floor. And you see a hand thrust itself out of the back of his camera through the glass preview screen on its back. You hear the cracking of glass and plastic as the oddity snatches Lewis around the throat and starts pulling.
No! Oh, God. Okay, I will. Do we have anything that can make any light?
You have your phones.
Okay, I scream and then I turn on my phone flashlight.
Okay, make me a pull,
and
please.
Shine it right in this thing's face. Oh, God.
I'm sorry.
Full point of order. I'm gone, right?
Yes, you and Amy have already left.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Oh, no, it leans.
Oh.
Woo! Okay.
Oh.
Excellent. So yes, Tess, by the time you had reacted, Lewis had already been dragged in up to his shoulders. But you,
oh my God.
You know, but you flash this phone camera in it, and again, you watch this thing kind of spasm a little bit, almost like an electric shock, and it loosens its hold on Lewis just a little bit, and he's able to like pull half of his face out of it. And as you were doing that, Marigold had tried to rip Lewis away, and you watch as she goes to grab Lewis, and like her hand passes right through this ghost, and you all kind of realize that it can touch you, but you can't touch it.
Oh.
But with that little electric shock coupled with Marigold being able to yank, you rip the camera away from Lewis. Lewis collapses on the floor. The camera skitters across the carpet, and that hand is still out there, and it lands next to Amy's cat, Bean. And you watch another hand rip out, grab this cat, and you watch as it is dragged through into the camera. The camera shakes, it shudders, and then lies still, and the cat is gone.
Oh no! This is horrible because I'm also in real time hearing my cats running around the apartment as we're recording.
I'm so sorry.
Oh, fuck.
Amy, I think I know what happened to your other cat.
And thwack! We are with Amy and Shawn. You are going down the stairs. Is there anywhere specifically you would like to go?
Outside.
Do you want to stop anywhere to get anything, basically?
Nope.
First. Nope. Okay, cool.
Hold on. Shawn, you're not going to go get anything from the entire house?
That's his
no
choice.
Resources?
So Amy is leading you down, and about like halfway between your apartment and like the like front entrance, she stops and she's like, oh shit, I forgot. We need salt. Do you have salt in your kitchen? It helps with ghosts and stuff. I don't know, it's weird. It's old-timey occult bullshit. It just works, okay? Do you have kosher? Iodized? Like, what, Himalayan pink? Like, do you have anything?
Yeah, kosher, of course. Yeah, there's some right by the stove. Just be quick. We gotta go.
Okay, well, you're coming with me, right?
I guess. Just let's go.
And so you trudge back up the stairs, and as you're walking, Amy kind of almost comically starts stepping louder up the stairs, like kind of clomping almost, up one and then another, and then they get to your apartment, which is still, I'd imagine, unlocked, right? From the Battle of the Bunk?
Yeah, I don't know that it ever really gets locked.
That's fair. And so you go through the front door, and you go into, it kind of opens into the living room. I guess, what does your apartment look like, real quick? The one that you share with Theo? Because we talked about the game room.
I mean, the game room is definitely the room we put the most thought into.
The game room is the only room that was furnished or put together with any kind of intention.
Nice.
Yeah, that's where the couch is. That's where the TV is. The living room's got, I don't know, like some lawn chairs or something, and some stacks of boxes, and maybe a bookshelf or two.
A milk
but
crate or
we
three.
We don't really need it.
You go into the living room. It kind of opens up, and that hallway, you follow it. And again, like, it is quiet, almost eerily so. The silence itself is almost like a presence that follows you through these rooms. You have your phone flashlight on, I'd imagine, or are you turning lights on for some reflecty goodness?
No, phone flashlight. Even that makes me nervous. I mean, I think I know my apartment good enough. I don't even need the phone out.
You know your apartment very well. Amy does not. So whether or not Amy is like trying to be comically loud, she does like knock into a door that was half open, just making a lot of sound. And Shawn, I'd imagine with each clunk and scuffle, you kind of flinch a little.
Indeed.
She's clumsier than Billy.
So you and Amy enter your kitchen. And through the light of your phone flashlight, you can see the glint of the stove reflecting back at you, winking in the darkness. You can see some dishes in the sink, some cutlery, some knives, all a silver polished sheen. And you see the microwave's face, which just, there's a lot of reflective-y stuff in here, my dude.
Shit. It's all shiny. Kill the light. Let's just get the salt, and it's time to go.
What do you mean kill the light? Like, we're not going to be able to see anything.
That's okay. I know what's going on. I live here. Just kill the light, and I'll show you the way. And I grab the salt, and I grab Amy, and we're going.
Please make me a pull.
You knew that was coming.
Yep.
You can try, but you cannot foil the pull.
Well, see, you are groping around a dark kitchen where there are lots of knives, perhaps a wok, perhaps some very wonderful. That's fine. Nicely done. Excellent pull. Thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome.
So, Shawn, you cross into your kitchen, and it's like that shitty, like, apartment linoleum. Like, even the floor is kind of winking at you. And it takes a second for your eyes to adjust, right? Like, you were in dim light, but now you are in darkness. You retrace your steps that you've taken so many times before, and you take 4 steps, 5. You pass by the sink, you pass by the dishes. Amy is standing back in the doorway. And 7, 8 steps, and by the stove. And you reach out your hand to grab the salt container. And you grab the salt container. You clasp it. It's like one of the little bamboo kosher salt things. And you have it in your hand, and you go to turn back. And in the microwave, you see a silhouette. And there is a flash of lightning from outside, and that silhouette comes into sharp focus, and you see Claudia. And she is grinning. And she looks, even in that brief flash, just a little more tangible. And she lunges at you, but you are able to duck down and run out of your apartment with Amy.
Does she look a little more like she might have just snacked on a black cat?
Perhaps.
Oh,
Perhaps maybe she may have.
I was afraid of that.
Can we just make this oddity like a nice protein-filled snack? Like, get a nice, like, to-go box going, like multiple cheeses.
We just go.
Some nuts. Like,
We go to the store.
I have a vast knowledge of protein-rich vegetarian recipes that I'd be happy to share with this oddity. We can live in peace.
We get it chicken. We get it peanut butter. We get it quinoa. Tofu.
Rice and beans. Some
Salmon.
cheese.
More cats.
No.
Okay, so Shawn, you and Amy get out of your apartment. There are 2 doors that lead out of the house. One is the front door, and then one is the back door that, like, all of your apartments are connected by a back stairway that leads to the basement and also to, like, a back door of the house. Which exit are you going?
Which exit is closer?
Probably the front, because you are running away.
Front it is.
Okay. So, Shawn, as you are running out of this apartment with Amy, you continue to see these reflections of Claudia, not Claudia, just like a step ahead of you in every reflection you come across. You leave the kitchen and pass by the game room. She's reflected in the TV. You pass by the living room. She's reflected in the lamp on the end of the table. And you rush out of your apartment and you go down the stairs into the foyer. In your haste, you bump up against the table that the Necronomicon was on, and the inkwell topples the floor. Amy is at your heels. She is running. She is screaming. But you emerge from the house into a light drizzle. And Amy takes the salt from you and dumps it into that canvas bag with the other iron shavings and starts mixing it together and shaking it. And she's fumbling with it. And she pours half of that mixture back into your salt container and thrusts it at you. And she says, okay, we just got to make a circle around the foundation. Okay, then I can't get out. Okay, I'll go this way. You go this way. Okay?
Yeah, magic ghost dust. Got it. And I'll go the other way, sprinkling the dust behind me.
Oh, Mr. Sandman, bring me a dream.
Bum, bum, bum,
Make
bum.
him the cutest that I've ever seen.
Bum, 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 bum.
Keep the reflective ghosts from killing me and all my friends in our house, Sandman. I'm so afraid
Bum, bum, bum,
of
bum.
my friend that's been taken by an oddity.
Taken away. Bum, 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 bum.
Please put on your magic dust and keep our house from being haunted. Cast me in all your musicals, everybody.
Keep your house from eating us. Bum, 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 bum.
But yeah, so Amy dashes to the left of the house, kind of sprinkling this iron and salt mixture around, throwing it at the base of the house. And Shawn, you do the same. The rainwater seeps into your shoes and in that one rip in your sole, and you are sprinkling this dust. You pass by the window on the first floor, and Claudia's not there. And then you pass by the second window, and you do see her again. And this time, you're with her in that reflection. You watch as she and you and Tess and Theo are all walking down a street together, talking about some show that you had seen, getting ice cream, and then the image kind of flickers and you have ice cream in hand and it's melting, and you watch one splat on Theo's shoes, and you watch yourself kind of reach out to Theo to give him a napkin, and I need you to make me a pull. Sorry.
Marissa, you can't just write actual moments of our friendship into
Jacob
these horrifying...
wrote that one. I did not. That was on his character sheet. Thank you.
Jacob, you can't just write moments of our friendship into these horrible moments.
I wrote it. I was like, I bet Marissa would really hate turning this into something terrible. I better make her do that.
And now it is tainted forever.
Forever.
And the tower is also tainted because it's looking rough. But as you go to reach into this memory, you feel yourself reaching in real life, and you're able to jump back, and you're kind of getting the hang of this. You know what it feels like to have someone pulling the strings inside your head now. And Claudia, you see her like look at you, and you see her try to push out through the mirror, but you had already put that iron dust around it, and she can't break through. You see her get angry. You see her form kind of congeal. The mask gets darker. Her form is like writhing. And then she stops and she straightens up. Her disguise drops. She doesn't look like Claudia anymore. And her head kind of cocks like she's heard something.
What?
And you see her look down towards the floor, towards the basement. And you see her grin. In an instant, she's gone.
No! You were supposed to distract it.
While this is happening...
Jacob, make
in
more
the
pulls so
basement.
we don't have to make more pulls. Do something. Stop this.
I can't. She's thwacking to you. I'm not.
You had one job.
So, while this is happening, simultaneously, thwack, Tess, Theo, and Lewis and Marigold. Do you need to get anything from the house before going down into this basement?
I know what I want to get.
Yes.
Just going on this.
Okay.
In my previous job before my life went to shit, Tess did work as a personal assistant for a monster of a boss who had 7 dogs, and those dogs all had Instagram pages, and Tess was very much in charge of capturing content for these Instagram pages. So she, in her apartment, would absolutely have a giant ring light and other mobile lighting equipment
All right.
used to make bomb-ass Instagram posts, and also conveniently to fight off horrifying reflection ghosts.
Hell yeah, I'm into it. All right. Yeah, you can absolutely grab that shit.
Yes, I can.
Theo.
I don't know that Theo actually has anything that would be useful and pertinent to this situation.
All right, fine. Don't be helpful.
That's okay.
I mean, yeah, I guess I have a lantern, but like I think it's only just like a sudden flash of light that would be the thing. So I don't even think a lantern would be, you know?
Yeah, you can be unarmed. That's fine.
Okay, I take a lantern. All right, God.
If you have an opportunity to get a resource, get the resource.
So, Tess, you go to retrieve your ring light, and after like a second, Lewis kind of follows you, and he has his camera. He's covering that glass on the back now. It still works, just the screen is completely fucked.
Do I have like some sort of duct tape in my apartment that we could just like thwap over the glass so that we don't have to worry about it?
Yeah, fuck it. Absolutely, you do. You and Lewis go to your apartment. There is no reflection. There's no humming. Nothing is out of place. You're able to get the ring light and the duct tape, and you rejoin Theo and Marigold, who were standing at the landing leading down to the basement stairs where all of your apartments kind of let out.
Okay, I'm not going to think too hard about that and just keep going with it. It was successful. Okay, here we go.
Well, the ghost may have been preoccupied with other people at that moment. So, unlike when you and Lewis went down the stairs earlier, though, to the basement, night has, like, truly and fully fallen now. The couple of small windows in the hallway reflect black sky. Marigold is in front, who I would imagine probably Theo is next, followed by Tess, and then Lewis. Do you turn on your lights going down or not?
Theo definitely has a lantern and definitely has it on. We're going into the basement.
But don't we need to be able to, like, generate a flash if the light is already on?
Oh, Theo's doing it.
This is
Okay.
I don't go into a dark basement. This basement is fucked. It's weird and spooky.
Okay.
So you all go down these stairs and they creak with each of your footfalls. And because you have enough light to see by the unevenness of the stairs, you're able to very carefully walk through, so you do not need to make a pull going down.
Okay, thank you, Theo.
You do flinch every time you pass by one of those windows, but for the time being, they remain empty. And you all reach the basement landing. Stretching across half of the floor now, you see that puddle of standing water. It's not deep. In fact, it doesn't even coat the entirety of the floor. It's very uneven. The house has a very old foundation. The higher parts are dry, kind of creating a patchwork of like these small concrete islands that stretch from the landing to the storeroom door. And when Marigold sees this, she kind of swears under her breath and says, "This is probably how it got out from behind the door. Great.
This reminds me of the board game Forbidden Island, where parts of the island are sinking beneath the ocean. So this is kind of like that."
And Lewis looks at you, Theo, and he's like, how good are you at Forbidden Island? Do you usually like win? Could really use some inspiration right about now.
Lewis, I have never lost a game of Forbidden Island that I started on the easiest difficulty setting.
I'm not sure this is the easiest difficult setting for us to be in.
We are fucked. We are plumb and truly fucked.
Marigold gestures across the room towards the storeroom where the water had been seeping out of originally, Tess. And she says, "There's where we're going. Tread lightly." And she starts crossing the room. Now, like, the water is places and is reflective. So how, like, are you hopping between cement things, or are you just like walking across the water, not giving any fucks?
I think that I would hop between cement things. That sounds like a fun mini game.
So it's just water, right?
Yes. Very reflective, mirror-like water.
Wouldn't we want to, like, cause ripples because then it's less reflective? Like, I feel like Tess might just, like, tromp right through it.
Yeah, you step through that reflective. Well, actually, no, that makes a whole lot of sense. Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, I'm just gonna, like
squamp through it.
This could be a poor choice.
Marigold and Lewis are both kind of gingerly, like, very, very lightly walking through the water, but walking on the cement as much as possible. And here you guys come, just splashing along, just floop-a-doop, doo-doo-doo, here I go. And I need you, Tess, because you are in front, to make a pull.
I was not in front. I have it written down that it was Marigold, Theo, Tess, then Lewis.
JK, I stand corrected. Theo.
I'm sorry, Bob, but you can make the pull this time.
That's fine.
As you're splashing around through this cool water.
I'm very sorry if this is a pull.
Splish splash, I'm taking a bath.
It's fine. It's fine.
Oh.
So, Theo, you are walking across, splish splashing around, almost frolicking. And in your, like, effort to make as much puddles as possible, you tripped because the basement floor is very uneven. And so you fall on your ass and you cause a huge splash. You drop the lantern. Marigold and Lewis whirl around and look at you, absolutely fucking terrified because that sound echoes, and you all stand still for a moment.
Made a successful pull. What?
And the moment passes, and nothing happens. And Marigold looks at you, Theo, as you pick yourself up from the water as you're dripping, and just glares at you.
If you think about it, though, some of the water is now in my clothes, which means there's less reflectiveness on the floor for the ghost to, like...
As you're saying that, Marigold just fucking starts walking away. Like,
It's almost-
just does not even give you, it just starts walking.
It's almost like that could be maybe a good thing.
So you reach the storage space door, you open it, and it like opens inward and only goes about halfway because it gets stuck on like an old wooden vanity. You see that this room is packed with furniture. When Amy said her mom used it for storage, she wasn't lying about that part, it seems. You see dressers and end tables, some small AC units. There is a glass-topped coffee table dead center, leaning on top of some other furniture so that the glass top is facing outwards and towards you. You see some old lamps, and water at this point covers basically the entire floor of the space. It's kind of like a hoarder's apartment with just like this narrow strip for you to walk through and cross the room. And across the room, you see another door, and it is towards that door that Marigold is moving. You all cross the storage room. So you pass by that glass table one by one. You see, and just for a second, Theo, I think you're the last one? Or no, Lewis is the last one.
I think I might be last now because I fell on my ass and had to get up.
That's fair.
We just saw you fall and left you behind.
You're just like, ghost, gotta go. Gotta keep going for the
Survival
ghost.
of the fittest.
So you, just for a second, you out of the corner of your eye, it's almost like you do a double take, like, was that really you? But it was. And you come to the door on the other side of this room, and it is locked. The door itself is painted a matte black, so not shiny at all, and you look at the handle, there's a number pad below it and what looks almost like a fingerprint scanner on an iPhone. And running all around the door frame is like this metal strip, like this baseboard, intricately engraved with these strange symbols that every so often light up electric blue. And you watch as Marigold types in a few numbers in the door and puts her fingerprint up to the scanner, and it opens with a click. And you enter where this ghost has been contained. You follow Marigold into a room filled with mirrors. There are hundreds of them. In front of you, you see mirrors of all shapes and sizes, each at odd angles. You see floor-length ones standing propped up. You see this one giant mirror in an ornate frame. You see handheld mirrors, little compact mirrors. They are everywhere. Some of the smaller ones are hanging down from the ceiling, some are on the floor, and all the frames that hold all of these mirrors are also kind of weird. You can see that they've been etched with some of those weird markings. Nothing that any of you can understand or make out, but these markings, like that door, also seem to be lit up by some electricity or some sort of power. You aren't sure. And they're glowing that soft blue, casting the entire room in this eerie, otherworldly glow.
Oh, fuck, that's
shit,
cool.
this is so cool.
Fuck, that's so cool.
I was
Marissa!
gonna
Holy shit. Also, this looks like a murder trap for us, but like, fuck,
You know.
that's cool.
Yeah.
It takes you all a second to like take that in for you to like wrap your head around like what you're seeing, because it's almost like an optical illusion of reflections, but you realize these mirrors aren't just stacked in like a hodgepodge pile. No, they're like arranged into hallways. You see 3 distinct pathways of empty floor leading deeper into this winding network, this web of mirrors, and you have no idea how far in it goes.
Wait, like another dimension, like in the looking glass? Like, are we about to like Alice in Wonderland this shit?
And Marigold gestures at that.
No, answer that question.
Marigold says,
No, answer that question.
you'll have to find fucking out. Marigold says, this is where we had it contained. In the center of that. I'm going to go in as far as I can to see what went wrong, but you three grab the files and be ready to run.
I want to go in, though.
Are the files in there?
No, so you see to like the left of this mirror zone, you see like this big metal desk, also like a matte black. On it is a computer's monitor, which is off and black and reflective. You see below it in like this little cubby hole, you see the computer tower. And next to that in an adjacent cubby hole, you see a leather duffel bag with ORCS on it, which you presume to be Marigold's go bag. Marigold treads softly into the middle passageway of these mirrors. You watch as she quickly disappears between two of them, and you can see her reflection in some of the other ones beside it, and even one on the ceiling before she takes another step and immediately vanishes from view. You can see ripples in the water from her footsteps arcing out slowly from this maze, stretching towards you, almost inviting you to follow.
Whoa!
This
is so cool!
So, you have a computer and a terrifying hellscape mirror zone. Where would you like to go?
I'm going for that computer. Shit, if we're gonna save the people that we love and shit, then I guess we gotta do what we're told. But
the best way to not be afraid of something and to deal with the problem is to be able to see it and have it like in front of you. So if I could go into the mirror zone and see the problem, then maybe I could fix it and it wouldn't try to kill us.
Hey, Theo,
Maybe.
remember the last time one of us who lived in this house and wasn't a specialist tried to deal with this thing on their own without telling anybody what the hell they were doing? And do you remember how that worked out for everyone?
It worked out fine because no one died, and
we're down 2 cats.
Well,
1.5 at least.
It's interesting that you mention a cat, Tess, because you see Ghost the cat walk. You can't really tell if it's in the mirror or outside of the mirror. But Amy's cat somehow must have just ended up in the basement.
Oh no.
Well, I did tell Amy that if I saw her cat, I would try to get it.
Oh, Marissa, this is impeccable, but oh no.
That's a thing that I said.
Oh, shoot.
So I would go towards Ghost. I'm going to go towards Ghost.
Okay. Lewis kind of like turns. He's like, Theo, what are you doing? It's just a cat. Just leave it. It's a fucking cat.
I told Amy I would try to get it. So I'm just going to go grab the cat. And then
Theo, okay, fine. Just hurry the fuck up.
This is not fine.
Come on, Theo.
I'm just going to get the cat. You guys do the thing.
Tess, we have a time limit. Just come on.
Okay, if you mess up this whole thing for us, then like I will just throw you at the thing.
But I promised Amy.
So Theo, you start going towards Ghost the cat, and Ghost is acting much like you remember him. He kind of licks a paw, and just as he always does when he's in the mood to play, as you get closer, he meows at you and darts further in. Not too far in, just a little bit.
I can still see him?
Yeah.
Then I'm just gonna go grab the cat. I go get him.
Oh.
So Theo, you follow Ghost. Meanwhile, Tess and Lewis, you go up to this computer and you boot it up using the credentials that Marigold gave you. And as you push the power button, the screen flickers to life and it makes that very loud much louder than you would have hoped or expected. And Lewis is fumbling at the computer trying to find the volume. You're like pressing a bunch of buttons that you don't understand. And you finally get onto a login screen. It looks like a cloud storage site, but one that you are unfamiliar with. You have no idea what this could be. And you see 3 drives on that site. And interestingly, they're all color-coded. You see the containment C drive with a bright yellow folder, the research R drive, which has a red folder icon, and an internal affairs I drive with a blue folder.
Very nice.
And just to refresh your memory, Marigold told you to go into the C drive and find the folders on H219 and C169.
Okay, so I do that.
Excellent. So as you click on the C drive, you also glance at like the recent files that have been opened on this cloud drive, and you see, just very quickly, you skim them. You see one that is like a case 3252 of response to the Jennings Chipper report. You see a case 4073, which is a McHale Manor death. You see something about a Cilius estate. You see an ORCS employee handbook.pdf. But you open the C drive.
Oh, fuck.
Impeccable.
Yeah.
You find a giant list of folders, each individually marked with these designations. You see H828, GMC51. It takes you a couple minutes to scroll through this list, but you do manage to find H219 and C169.
Do we look at what these files say? Perhaps gain some information about what we're dealing with?
Would you like to?
Here? I absolutely would like to do that.
Why don't you just download all the files and drag and drop them into the flash drive?
Because I don't want to crash the drive, but I do want to look at the pertinent information for the threat we're actively dealing with at this moment. Also, there are 2 things that we're getting information for, and I'm only aware of one thing, so I would like to learn as much as I can in this moment.
Tess, you know what? You're a smart cookie.
Yep.
So we'll say that you drag them into the USB drive first, because
Yes.
you'll pop the little icon bar will pop up like downloading like 4 minutes and count, like whatever.
4 minutes. How big are these files?
Well, we'll see. So you are looking at C169 because that's the different one, correct?
Yes.
It's a lot of like spreadsheets, a lot of Word docs, and like this is a big fucking folder. And those files are usually not that big, so there are a ton of them. Some are like very old, what looks like petitions for like research petitions, like asking for funding, asking for permission to go find something that's referred to as C168, not C169. And you start looking at a folder of pictures. And you open a couple pictures and start scrolling through them. You see a picture of C168, and all it says is like the file name, C168, 1994. And it is a picture of this metal box, and inside of it is this like weird purple, it almost looks like an octopus, but like the picture was really shaky.
With a yellow eye, yeah?
It does have a yellow eye, imagine that.
Uh-huh.
And you go to the next picture, and that file name is C169, 1995, and you see a very wizened old man that seems to have like his entire arm and up part of his side is like merged with this octopus C168 thing. And you notice
Tess wouldn't know about any of this. Oh no.
Tess is just seeing body horror.
Christine.
and you see that it has 2 yellow eyes now, and you flip to the next picture and it's C169, like 1997, and it's just like this metal tube with like a port window, and there's like some ice crystals on it, and you can almost make out like the figure of it in there. And you scroll through some other Word documents and you see like notes about mind control and like what this oddity can do, and it talks about how it is able to infiltrate people's minds and merge with different organisms, and it doesn't make any sense to you, but the parts about it being able to tap into other people's psyches and control them telepathically rings eerily similar to what is going on with your particular oddity, H219.
Oh, I see. Okay, so this is like a cross reference.
Yes.
Excellent.
But as you're reading these files and realizing with horror just the extent of what could happen to you and to the people you care about, you hear a ding. The files are done uploading. Do you keep reading or do you leave?
Where is Theo?
Let's jump to Theo, shall we? Hi, Theo.
Hello.
You are following Ghost the cat, and again, just every time you get close to Ghost, he just kind of meows and kind of like hops just a little bit farther in.
Run away!
And Theo, make me a pull, please.
Okay.
You have beat me in Jenga so many times. It's totally fine.
Oh no!
Okay. Thank you, Theo, for that very, very good pull. So you go to follow Ghost through this particularly tight turn, and as you're going through the mirrors have been set up in like these hallways, but they are winding and narrow, and they reconverge on each other, and you're following this cat, but Ghost, you watch as he just kind of sits there and looks up and meows at you, and you really quick reach down to try to grab him, and what you thought was empty space was a mirror. And you go to crash through it, but then you stumble forward and are so cold for just an instant. It feels like your blood freezes into ice, and you stagger forward, you catch your breath, and you're in a different part of this mirror hallway. The mirror that you were reaching for was a floor-length mirror, but you look behind you and you look at your reflection, and the one that you had just come out of looked like it was one that had previously been attached to like a vanity. You see yourself reflected in this mirror, and you're reflected in this blue glow, and there's no cat here. There never was. It was just another memory being reflected towards you. And you hear footsteps, and you turn around, you kind of duck down this hallway, and you almost run into Marigold, who is standing in front of you, and her eyes are panicked. And she says, "What are you doing?" And you see behind her Ghost the cat reflected in the mirror, and you watch its form melt into dark shadows that squirm and swirl like smoke until it reforms, and H219 takes the form of Claudia again, and she thrusts its arms out of the mirror, latching around Marigold's waist, and starts to pull her in.
It's bad, Ghost!
Fuck this cat! Fuck this cat!
It's bad, Ghost!
I grab Marigold, like...
Make me a pull.
Okay.
Oh, no. I'm starting to get very nervous.
It's fine. I got this. Life is a game, just like...
But it's not. But if you lose the game, if it is and you lose and you die.
I said I intend to win.
Okay. We all intend to win, Fabrice.
Thank you. Dang,
But
this is starting to look rough, friend.
The tower.
So you very quickly grab Marigold's arms and kind of use your momentum to almost like spin the two of you, so that you, instead of this oddity pulling Marigold into the mirror, as Marigold steps sideways, you pull the oddity out.
Oh no, that's not better.
And as you're doing this, it lets go of Marigold, and it gets jerked to a stop with like one leg still in this mirror. The rest of it is out, and the rest of it is tangible, but it stops and it jerks, and you see it wince. Like that's as far as it can go, and that's pushing it. Marigold shoves you forward and says, "Run!" What do you do?
Why is this a debate? You run!
I no longer believe in cats, and so I run. I run.
You start running. You go down this corridor, which you have not seen before. These are mirrors that you do not recognize, and you look behind you to see if you can find Marigold, and she's not there. And as you looked back for a second, you feel yourself almost trip, and you crash through another mirror, and again you feel this horrible cold, and you stumble out, and you're in another part of this mirror, this rabbit warren.
I'm like jumping from mirror to mirror within the inside of the zone. That's so fucking cool.
Yes.
I have an idea. I have a thought. Okay, so since Ghost isn't real and Marigold is already in here and Marigold looked scared, the Ghost is here, so Shawn and Amy did a bad job at their job of distracting it.
Seems like it.
So I would like to take on that responsibility. And I would like to try and distract the Ghost as much as possible so Marigold can try, because like it seems like maybe Marigold was having a hard time doing what Marigold needed to do.
Oh shit.
So I would like to try and distract the Ghost in here, and like I'll keep like jumping through mirrors and being like over here and like clap clap clap, and then like
The most
jump
Fabrice move ever, to be like, time for chaos. Oh no, how can I turn this into a thing that makes me valiant and helpful for others? Like,
Hell
this
yes.
is very on brand.
Are you also trying to hop your way out? Or are you just not giving a shit? Like, is this Mirror Maze your
Like,
cool new home? Set up
no.
a bed and a coffee maker. Hello, I live here now.
I don't want to live here, but I want to vacation here for like 10 minutes, you know?
Yes, absolutely you can. So you start hopping between the mirrors, and it isn't pleasant. It's so cold it almost burns every time you go through one of these
I hate
mirrors.
this.
And every time you do, you've done it enough times that you can kind of catch on to this now. Those like runes, those like occult bullshit, whatever, kind of flash bright blue when you jump through it. And every time the oddity manifests in one, like as if you're turning the corner and you see fake Claudia standing there waiting for you, that frame is a little bit brighter than the ones surrounding it. And you do this a couple of times. You hop between mirrors. You see Claudia reaching out and grabbing for you.
It's like, I can teleport too, bitch. Look at me. Look at I go. Look at me zig. Look at me zag. You thought I was
And you
here?
zig,
Now I'm there.
and you zag, and you double zig, and then you kind of emerge and into a mirror that looks somewhat familiar to you. It's that big ornate one in like this huge frame.
The first one I fell through?
Not the first one you fell through, but we'll say the second.
Okay.
And you stop and you wait and you pause and you look to see where the oddity is going to pop up. And it doesn't this time. You are alone for now.
I make lots of noise. Head on the swivel. I'm making noise. Unless you were about to cut away. But like, that's what I'm doing in the interim.
No, we can have you make noise real quick. So you're like stomping your feet and you're doing that and you kind of feel like your legs are falling into a steady beat.
Oh,
Same beat
no.
as the song.
Fuck.
Eventually, it's almost like that beat is involuntary. Like that siren song is slowly taking hold. The tendrils of this thing are curling around your mind. And you turn back into that huge mirror and you see Claudia and you see yourself and you see Tess and Shawn and Lewis, and you're all in your apartment and you watch yourselves as you're all playing games together. You're drinking. Claudia made this like wild, crazy cocktail that somehow ended up bright green. And you watch that memory as one by one people go to bed, but you and Claudia stayed up and you remember this night that you shared, one of those nights where the time just kind of fades and you just talk about life and dreams and just opening your souls to each other. And you remember Claudia telling you about this song that she was writing, something that she was really proud of. And she starts humming you that melody that she's been working on. And that melody is the one that you've been hearing all along. And it echoes between this mirror and the others and all of them around until it is deafening to you. I need you to make me one more pull.
Sorry. Oh my gosh.
If this works, I have a thought.
Dun, dun.
It's not as bad as it could be. There are just some
Perilous
spots that are not good.
Oh,
Nice.
you
Okay.
are one lucky bastard.
I have a question. I have a question
I
for
have an
God.
answer,
I have
yes.
a question for God because I'm crushing this. This ghost is going down.
Yes.
All right. Like
Don't get cocky, Fabrice.
my head right now is like I'm seeing this and it's affecting me and like the song is in me, right?
Yes.
Okay. But it hurts a lot whenever I jump through the mirrors.
Correct.
Could I try to like dive through one or like just like stick my head in one or something and like that like snap me out of it?
Oh, interesting. Like you want
Like-
to pain yourself into breaking this. That's the siren song hold it has on you.
Yeah.
Do you have this presence of mind to do that?
Well, here's the thing. That memory, much like that song, is being reflected around you in
Oh.
almost every mirror. One of them, you know in the fucking animes where they do like a clone thing and one is real and like all the rest are not? It's kind of like that situation. So if you guess wrong, it will grab you and pull you through the mirror to where it wants you to go. If you guess right, you will be successful. I will require a pull
Okay.
if you want to do this, and I feel very bad because I feel like you've been pulling a lot and it's not great.
He
but
asked
you
for
did.
it. He asked for it the minute he went after that cat.
That is true.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
So
Okay,
I jump
nice.
through the oldest, most ornate looking mirror if I have any kind of presence of mind.
Yes. So you approach this big mirror. It's the biggest one where the memory is the most like. Think of it like a movie screen almost. Like it is the most
Okay.
high def.
Yeah.
And you throw yourself towards this mirror, and at the last second, you think to look at the frame around it, and it is not glowing brighter than the others. And you manage to shock your system, and the song immediately falls silent. It just stops. Everything is quiet, and you stumble outside of the mirror.
Oh, you're so lucky. You're so lucky. Oh, man.
As you stumble forward, you kind of fall onto your hands and knees as like into this like standing water, and you smell mold and rot and just stagnancy.
Oh.
And you look up and you see Tess and Lewis standing up from the computer zone. All of this only took you about 4 minutes, but it felt like years. And as you pull yourself up, you see Marigold coming out from one of the hallways, looking for you, and she sees you, and she runs to you. She hoists you up, drags you out of here, and she looks at Tess and Theo, and she just says, "Run."
Run away!
I am winning the game of life. Do, 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 do. I'm winning the game of life. Do, 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 do.
All of you start scrambling out of this house. Like, you all scramble up the stairs. You almost trip. Lewis drops his camera. He lets it go. Fuck that thing. We need to get out of here.
We did
That
grab
was his weapon.
We did grab the go bag, right?
Yes, you
Okay.
did grab the go bag. I think Tess has that, I believe.
Yeah.
Cool.
So you see Lewis rush out of this foyer. He steps in that fallen inkwell, leaving a footprint, a black footprint on the rug. Tess, you're next. You rush through it, and you feel your foot give a little bit in this
God.
inkwell, this reflective surface.
Yeah, I was
And
wondering when that was going to come back. Oh, no.
Theo and Marigold behind can see, like almost in slow motion, these arms, this creature. It's not even pretending to be Claudia anymore. It is reaching up at you, like thrusting itself up and out of this new mirror, essentially, and is grabbing so far up almost to your waist. Tess, I need you to make me a pull.
Okay, wait. Pause. Stop.
Okay, pause podcast. Yeah.
No, don't pause the podcast. I'm Theo right now. Hi. Hello. And I just gone through magic mirrors.
What are you doing?
Uh-huh.
Oh,
God just said that the ink surface is like unto a mirror.
Uh-huh.
So I I'm going to push Tess out of the way
No!
and make sure that she doesn't get got. The thing will pull me in. That's fine.
but
I can
no,
get out.
no, it won't, but
because
no.
I'm magic, baby. I just jump through fucking time and space.
So, if not to be meta, but if you do this, that will count as a sacrifice yourself. Which,
No!
Wait
a minute!
As a reminder, in the horror RPG Dread, something we have never done before, a player at any moment can choose to sacrifice themselves, knocking over the tower. They succeed in whatever they are trying to do, but their character is still removed from the game.
Fabrice!
It is up to you, I am saying, because right now, Tess is going to be the one that makes this pull to try and, like, not get yanked into hell.
Wait, okay, wait. So hold on. So if Bob sacrifices himself, it doesn't get me, but it gets him instead?
Yes. He will essentially be taking the pull for you and also your worst case scenario.
But he can't just attack it and make a pull for that?
He defo can, but Tess would still have to make her pull first.
And I have gone through the mirror and I've gone through the blue light. So, like, clearly the magic, the spooky ghost shit is like I've got that now.
You can't, but if you get removed from the game, how are you going to come back from that?
But Theo doesn't know
no.
that. You know what I mean? Like
Theo understands game mechanics, but Theo doesn't know that he's playing Dread right now.
That's fair!
Theo is going to sacrifice himself.
Oh my gosh!
I save my friend, and I kick the ghost in the dick on my way out.
Okay.
What?
Wait, do I get to decide how I die?
Yes, you do. You get to decide how you exit the game.
I would love for you to narrate this scene for me. Fucking have at it, my dude.
So it's bullet time, right? You see Lewis run across the inkwell. You see the ripples start to form. You see his black footprint on the rug. That's gonna leave a stain. Not great. You see Tess start to stumble. She's about to fall into this like black pool of ink, and then you see these spectral hands start to shoot up to get her. Theo sees this. Theo knows what must be done. Theo pushes Tess out of the way and falls into the hands of the ghost. And Theo looks up at Tess and says, I'm sorry. Can you tell Shawn bye? And I fall.
Oh my god!
Theo, what happens next is quick and it is horrible. You are dragged down into this ink, and you can feel this oddity's grip on you.
I feel like Tess would like try to reach out for Theo through this to like keep him from falling through.
Yeah, Tess, you grab Theo, you grab his hands, and you watch as it's just too strong, and his hands slip through your fingers, and he is pulled down. And Theo, time slows down to an excruciating slow pace. It is not like the mirrors in the basement, ones that were designed to be manifested through. You can feel yourself moving through it this time. You can feel every inch of your body pass through this barrier, and it is cold and it hurts like you're being squeezed between shards of ice. And your brain hurts. That's the only way you can think to describe it. Before you stop being able to think at all, you feel this thing tugging on your hair, but it's like your hair extends down through your skull, and this thing is tugging at gray matter and uncoiling the folds of your brain, and you see flashes of memories of you with Claudia eating ice cream. You see flashes of you and Shawn in high school. You see flashes of your childhood, but they're all moving so fast, it's all being sucked out and leaving you so fast. There is confusion, there is pain, and then there is nothing. all gather inside the garage. Amy and Shawn have finished putting all these iron shavings and salt around the foundation of the house, and they've pulled out some dusty fabric lawn chairs for you to sit on. Marigold unfolds an old card table and brushes off some spider webs that had been collecting on it before setting down first her suitcase and then her go bag on top of it. From her suitcase, she produces a laptop, and she holds out her hand to you, Tess, for the USB drive.
Yeah, I just, like, very numbly give it to her. Like, I'm at a loss for anything that is happening right now.
I think everyone is kind of in that same zone. Lewis is just sitting in the corner with his head in his hands. Amy is sitting next to her mom, but she is silently crying. And Marigold looks at you, Tess, and she just kind of gives you a very tight, pained smile. And she says, I just need to look at the data that was collected while I was gone. Once I confirm my theory, we can come up with a plan, take back the house, and save your friends. Just sit tight, okay?
I think it's a little late for saving all of our friends, and I just, like, shove it into her hand and, like, scowl at her.
She just takes it without a word and plugs it into her computer and starts typing. And yeah, Tess and Shawn, you're sitting in these lawn chairs. There's nothing remarkable about this garage. You see, you know, like a lawnmower in the corner, an old abandoned bicycle that's rusted, and the mundaneness of this space seems to only heighten the unbelievability of your situation. Tess, you were supposed to be unpacking after your trip, after being welcomed home. Shawn, you were supposed to be kicking Theo's butt in the battle for the bunk, but instead you're both here. And Claudia and now Theo are gone.
I can't make eye contact with anybody. I'm just staring at my ink-stained shoes.
Oh. So Marigold is at this card table typing away, and Amy just stares off at the ground, and she just says, I'm sorry. I didn't think it was be this bad.
Tess is just, like, shaking her head. Like, this, yeah, it's too much for her.
Again, it's quiet for a moment. You just hear, like, the clicks and clacks of Marigold's laptop. And Lewis eventually, like, sits up and he says, guys, I can't do any more of this. The fuck am I gonna do? I had a camera, now that's gone. I'm not going back in there. I don't want to die. I don't want you guys to fucking die. Like, I'm done.
So as Tess is sitting there, she, like, her mind is so exhausted and an intense amount of trauma has just occurred.
Yeah.
One of her best friends just sacrificed himself to save her. Like, one of her other best friends, who I think Tess and Claudia were the closest in the house, right? So, like, most of the memories of Claudia are being held by Tess. And so, like, on one hand, she is, like, horrified that Theo is gone, but she realizes that not only has Theo probably saved her, but, like, any chance of getting Claudia back, because if that thing would have gotten Tess, like, it probably would have taken most of, if not all of Claudia with it, you know? So she's staring at her shoes and looking at the ink and thinking about how it felt when that thing grabbed her and how she tried to grab Theo's hands as tight as she could, but it still wasn't enough. She looks up at Shawn and says, his last words were to say bye to you.
And Shawn turns and I can't believe you'd put him in that position and you'd let him do that. You'd let him
Shawn,
just give up, Shawn, like that.
I tried to grab for him. I didn't ask him to do that. I don't.
Yeah, sure.
Shawn, Theo was my friend too, and I don't know. I didn't mean for that to happen.
I think Shawn just kind of shrugs it off and turns away.
Oh, fuck. I died and y'all are gonna make me cry.
From her place at the card table, Marigold hits a key very emphatically, stands up, and takes a moment to regard all of you. And she says, in a voice that's much more weathered and weary than you've heard from her so far, I'm sorry that I haven't been very forthcoming with you. I'm sorry that I took advantage of your position as tenants. I don't know Claudia and Theo the way you all do, but from what Amy's told me, they sound like good kids. I know this is hard. I get it. Trust me. I've lost friends to worse things than H219, and they didn't get a chance. There were no maybes. There were no possibilities of saving them, but Claudia and Theo have that. So I'm sorry, but we still have work to do.
What do you mean? That there's still a chance of saving them? They're not dead? What? What?
No. Like I said before, it's siphoning away their beings, their essence. It's using your memories of them. But I saw them. And Marigold reaches into her pocket and she pulls out 2 objects. One is a small plastic kazoo, and the other is a small...
I'm sorry, what?
It's a small plastic kazoo.
Where is it? Where is it?
Oh, shit, Christine.
Wait, I have one.
prop work.
You see the ancient eldritch kazoo. Gaze into its
Kazoo
maw.
of time?
It will play and you will go mad with its zooing and cuzzing.
I feel like that's any just typical kazoo after long enough.
So in addition to the kazoo, Marigold also pulls out a small, almost compact size like mirror. And she says, when we were downstairs, when Theo bought me time, I made it to the center of the mirrors downstairs. And I saw Claudia there, what's left of her anyway. She was alive. H219 has probably taken Theo to the center now, too. This kazoo, she kind of gestures at it. It was in her pocket. I assumed you'd want some sort of proof. And for just a second, Tess and Shawn, you both have just the briefest millisecond of a memory. Like, well, of course, Claudia carried that kazoo around with her all the time because it was given to her by who gave her that kazoo? She used it all the time. It's weird. And just like it has before, your memories kind of fizzle out. But at least for a second, you do remember that kazoo was Claudia's.
So, going back a little bit, what do you mean Theo bought you time?
I mean, he ran into the mirrors. He distracted H219 while I was in there. If it wasn't for Theo, I would probably be where he is right now.
And a chill goes down Tessa's spine because she realizes that Theo has done the same thing for her.
Hell yeah, what's up? Coming back from the grave to do good shit. Hell yes, Theo, number 1, I rule.
Shawn, did you hear something? I don't.
Marigold takes a second to, again, look at all of you. Lewis is not really meeting her gaze, but Amy is, and Tess, I think that you would be. And Shawn, she senses your hesitation, and she says, just hear me out. Downstairs, all of those mirrors, it's set up as a rabbit warren. It's an old method of containment. It's spiraling corridors, confusing passageways, hedge mazes, weird floor plans like the Winchester Mystery House. The basement was designed to mimic those. We originally trapped the oddity inside of a mirror. This mirror. And she points at the small compact mirror on the table. And it's like like you can hold it in your hand, like it's not big. And around the outside of it, you can see like those same runes that you saw on the door leading into that basement mirror zone room. And I guess none of you would have seen it, but it's the same runes that were on all of the frames of the mirrors in the mirror zone that Theo saw. Marigold holds it out and like lets you all examine it if you would want to. And she goes on, we kept this original mirror in the center and built the rest of the mirrors around it. We knew that H219 would eventually be able to get out. That's how oddities work. They adapt, but it was only able to manifest through mirrors near that original prison, near this one. And with so many mirrors down there, it just kept getting lost. Like a minotaur inside a labyrinth, it was trapped. Unfortunately, we didn't expect the basement to flood and our 3 sub pumps to fail. The water created an additional surface for it to manifest, and now it can bypass our trap entirely. So when it took Claudia, it got stronger, and it's gotten stronger tonight.
So what, you've got like a Ghostbusters backpack or something for us? We gotta go trap it or something?
I mean, now that you mention it. And Marigold turns to her go bag that you had retrieved from the basement that had been sitting on the table this whole time. And she starts taking out several items. Also, speaking of items, Tess, your ring light is at your feet, and on the table, Marigold puts a couple of other items. You see an EMF detector. There's a flashlight, and it's like one of the ones you have to like turn a crank to power on, so no batteries needed. You see a metal bracelet identical to the one that Amy is wearing, another bag of metal shavings, an unopened bag of cat treats, and a pair of gloves. And these gloves are leather, and they have some very familiar runes stitched into them, and it's almost like electrical wiring are like running through the stitches. And you see a blue crystal conduit thing on the back of them.
Now?
Hell yes.
And it's the same shade of blue as the blue around that compact mirror. And the last thing that Marigold pulls out is just an empty mason jar, and she looks at it.
Hipster. You're gonna get some iced coffee?
There are some like brown bits like in the bottom of it, so kind of
I hate it.
Marigold just looks at it very confused, and she says, "This was supposed to have holy ground in it." And Amy pipes up, and she says, "Oh yeah, so I couldn't remember what exactly you said about orc stuff, so when Claudia went missing, I kind of went in your bag and threw some dirt around downstairs to see if that would help, and it didn't." Oops, Daisy.
Way to go, Amy.
I think Tess would just kind of like side-eye her and then look back to what is happening.
Amy kind of like huffs. She's like, "No, it's a thing. Like holy ground is a thing. It's like a ghost thing with the stuff. I don't know. I didn't read the handbook." Marigold stops for a minute, and you see her look at the jar, and she says, "Actually, that's not a bad idea. Amy's right. Sacred ground acts as a binding agent, sort of. It's pretty good at containing spirits. That's genius." Okay, everyone come here. And you see her go back to her laptop, and she turns the screen around so that you can see what's on it. And you can see, Tess, those images that you saw before, the images of C168 and C169. And she shows you the picture of the old man with the octopus attached to it. And Marigold says, "This is C169. This is an example of someone who didn't take oddities very seriously and wound up an oddity himself. This thing," and she points at that purple octopus thing, it was also able to tap into other people's heads. I was hoping they'd have recorded some insight as to how they dealt with the telepathic thrall, but of course my predecessor didn't take good notes. So all it says was that C-169 became unmanageable and they opted to cryogenically freeze it in order to stop it. And that's not exactly an option for us right now. So we improvise with Holy Ground. Here. And she minimizes that folder and opens the folder on H219. And she brings up a couple of like charts of what looks like energy output, kind of. It gradually increases over time. Like you see that this starts like 8 years ago. And right about 2 weeks ago, there is a giant spike up. And as you're looking at all of this, Amy nods and she's like, that's about when it started raining a lot and when the house started flooding. So that must be when it took Claudia.
Oh.
And Marigold says, if it can get this high in energy output in 2 weeks, we should act fast. So Holy Ground, right? It can act as a binding agent. We just get it to manifest in a mirror, a small one, like this one, like the original one. And then if we cover it with Holy Ground, that should stop it from being able to manifest out of this mirror. It'll be trapped again. The dirt will act as a buffer, cutting off its connections. That this could work.
Yeah, that easy. Okay.
I mean, do you have a better plan?
No, I just have a hard time believing that some dirt and a mirror is going to control that thing that was in the house.
Oh, no, I saw somebody contain someone with just like a metal ring and those stupid gloves before. I think it could work, probably. He was kind of an idiot. He tried to make me lasagna and he couldn't make lasagna.
Oh.
I think his name was Copper.
Damn, Marissa.
I know it's easy to be skeptical, and I know that some of you are probably scared. This is scary stuff, but at least for me, I always feel better when we have a plan. So you know what? Here. And she's digging around in her bag, and she says, I'm sorry none of you got the luxury of our employee training program, but here, review these.
The luxury.
And she hands you a procedure known as the Ghoul procedure on how to properly contain an oddity that I have made for you and that I will also describe. I'm dropping it into the chat now.
Stop it!
And so you see a piece of paper with a gold letterhead with the ORCS logo in the center.
Are you kidding me?
This is great.
Oh, fuck, this is really
and
good.
There's some shitty clip art. There's a little ghost with the red X through it.
My goodness.
And it has like this acronym, this GHOUL. The first step is G, gather the appropriate supplies. The second step is research, but the H is big and the rest of the word isn't. Research-related oddities. Step 3 is O, the O in approach the oddity with caution. Then it's U for use appropriate techniques to either contain or negotiate with the oddity. And then L for leave the effective area if containment is not possible. And Marigold hands you these leaflets.
And Tess just like, this is like the last straw. And she just starts laughing. Like, are you fucking kidding me? This is what we're going to do to go after this nightmare that has captured my best friend and killed my other best friend. And you've been living this double life this whole time. We've been living in this house unbeknownst. I wasn't even here for the last 6 months. I didn't even need to come home and deal with all this shit. And like, she's just like losing it. Like she's done.
Lewis looks very concerned. You can see he almost gets up to like go over to you, but then thinks better of it and like stays sitting. And Amy is like, you weren't here, so you haven't been as affected.
Okay, yeah, well, you're one to talk, Amy. You literally knew about all of this and didn't tell us that we were in grave danger. You lied to all of us.
I didn't think you were in grave danger. It was under control for 3 years.
I don't believe a word of what you're saying, Amy. You've been a nervous wreck ever since you picked me up from the airport. You clearly knew what was going on and didn't tell any of us. And now Theo is dead because of it. Are you happy?
He's not dead. Claudia's not dead. They're just trapped. And if we get like Mom said, we just go to the fucking church, get some holy dirt
easy.
or whatever.
That easy. Uh-huh.
I mean, do you not want to help? Do you just want to sit here with Lewis and do fucking nothing?
I honestly, I don't even know. I'm about ready to book another flight back to Brighton right now, Amy.
Marigold is still handing these papers out, and she just sighs and she's like, I can't do this by myself. Amy and I can't do this by ourselves. So at least some of you should help us pick up some fucking dirt and take it into the basement and try and save people's lives. I would hope that's easy enough for you to do.
And as she's trying to hand me a paper, I just stare her straight in the eyes and I say, I'm never going back to that fucking church. And I turn and I walk away.
Marigold takes you by the shoulder and turns you around, and she just looks much like Tess has had it. Marigold has also had it. She just is like, why? Why not the church? Why not? What? Please tell me. What is there fucking what is wrong with the church? Is there don't tell me. Is there Bigfoot in it? Because it's down the street. It's right there. What the fuck now?
Shadow's still there.
And Tess, for the first time all night, looks Shawn dead in the eyes and says, what the fuck does the doll have to do with this?
Lewis also looks at you completely shocked, and Amy perks up and she's like, wait a minute, Shadow was the name of the name that you gave the doll that I got from the thrift shop 2 years ago. It had a ghost in it. I was gonna give it to my mom for the... It went missing. Shawn? Shawn, what did you do to Shadow?
What did you do, Shawn?
Well, it was fucking watching me in my sleep, and I just couldn't take it. So when the church caught on fire, it seemed like an opportunity, and maybe some of the good juju would balance out the creepy juju of the doll. So I put them together, and I thought it would help. But
you burned down a church to throw away a doll?
No. I did not burn down the church. But when the opportunity arose, I had to take care of the problem.
I am not an arsonist. I am an opportunist, Your Honor.
And Lewis from his corner is gosh. Okay, hold on. Baby, I did hear this, right? So, 2 years ago, Abby goes to the thrift store, finds a doll. There's a ghost in it. Cool, fine, whatever. She puts
clearly hunted doll, yes.
Yeah, cool, great. She puts it in her apartment, right?
In our house.
Yep, that we share. You go when the church. You look out your window. You're like, man, that's a cool church fire. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna throw a doll in it. And then, a year later, when your cool pal Lewis goes to take pictures of the church for school, you don't fucking think to mention that you threw a ghost in the fucking fire. Shawn.
I thought I had taken care of it, but then I was helping you with the pictures that one time, and
everything burns eventually.
I thought I was crazy for feeling watched, and you just didn't mention that there's a fucking ghost doll in the church now.
Well, it's not in the house anymore, so you're welcome.
We're not in the house either, Shawn. I don't know if you could tell.
Well, that's not my fault. I'm the only one who's ever successfully removed a ghost from this house.
Excellent point, sir.
And you see Marigold, she sits down on the table where her laptop is and just fully lean back and lay down, just face in hands, just staring up at the ceiling.
Shawn, you broke her.
And she's just so again, you took a doll that had an oddity safely contained in it. It was in the doll. It wasn't getting out. and you threw it in a fire.
No, it was getting out. It was haunting my dreams.
Uh-huh. Dolls can contain spirits very effectively, and you let it out in church where we need to go. Oh, good. Oh, great. Oh, cool.
I'm sorry I didn't anticipate needing to scoop up some dirt from the ground to try to contain some weird mirror ghost that nobody told me about.
I like that it's a well-documented fact that dolls can contain ghosts very
It's in the
effectively.
handbook. I don't know what you want.
I'm sorry we didn't get it the luxury of employee training.
And Marigold, just still lying down on the table's like, okay, fine. Cool, great. And she pulls her phone out of her pocket and she dials a number and she puts the phone up to her ear. And you hear her say, "Hi, it's me. I'm cashing in that favor you owe me." And there is some muffled talking on the other end. Marigold just looks so irritated and she says, "I'm at the H219 house. Be here in 10 minutes.
Incentivized to do that house.
If you're here in less than 5, I'll give you an extra week of paid vacation." And Fob, would you like to describe how and who comes in?
Wait a minute.
So, you all see a beat-up hippie-style van. Think a la like the Mystery Machine from Scooby-Doo, but also it has like ladders and shit on the side.
Oh my
It pulls up, like the lights turn off, and someone gets out and they walk around. You see this man with like a huge handlebar mustache, very like big and like broad shoulders, and you see poking out from behind their shoulder this creature with gigantic glowing eyes. And this person walks up towards you all and says, "Crikey, what seems to be the problem here?"
So Fob will be playing one of Marigold's co-workers, another ORCS agent here to help.
I would have pushed you into the puddle myself if I had known this is what was going to happen.
This episode's sponsored by bananas. Great on the Barbie.
This shit is bananas. BANANAS.
Thank you so much for listening to Dread and Breakfast today, and thank you especially for sticking around to the very last seconds of the podcast. As a reward for your loyalty, you get credits, and here they are now. We'd like to thank Eli Schneider for our theme song and original music. You can find him and his band, Open Doors, on Spotify. We'd also like to thank He Who Must Not Be Credited for composing the original melody that we've all been humming throughout this story, and all our additional audio is credited down in the episode notes. Our friend Emily is the mastermind behind this story's amazing episode art. You can find more of her work on our website, dnbpod.com. You can follow us on Instagram at dnbpod, or find us on Twitter at Dread